Okay, I've been thinking about my simple toy here, and I want to talk about my giraffe a little further, and we're going to do standing meditation and put it into practice. So the more I thought about this guy, the more I realized how Tai Chi he is. Because, and I want to relate this to our songing of our joints. Okay, so he's got lots of joints here, and he is an absolutely perfect expression of songing the joints, because this toy obviously doesn't have any muscles, and there's not really any soft tissue tightness like we do with our muscles, and yet it's this terrific posture. And then what's really interesting, this is what's so Tai Chi about it, is that when I press the button up, then what happens? He goes down. So he collapses down. Now, here's the key point, when I release the button down, then it opens up his joints and he goes up and goes into perfect song. Isn't that cool? So, by our releasing down, much like this button, we're releasing the muscles down and we're allowing our chi to settle down into our body, into our dantian or into our legs and our feet, however you want to visualize it. And you're going to visualize it first, most of you, before you actually feel it. But I promise you, if you even just pretend that you feel it or use visualization, then you're opening up that pathway for you to actually start to feel it. So you'll feel this settling of tension down. And as you let go and allow that tension to settle down, then you're emptying your body and it becomes available to rise up. And that rising up is the opening of our joints. And it's and when we open our joints, then we're creating, let's see if I can get this close enough so you can see it. We're creating that tension line of our tendons and our ligaments. Can you see it? Come on, camera. Yeah, so in between is that elastic band, which is very, it's got that tensegrity, and it's got that elasticity, much like our fascia and our tendons and ligaments. And so that's what we want to access. That's what we want to use to build our structure. I hesitate to use the word tension, but that tension line created by releasing down, releasing our muscles, then allows us to build a posture that rises and creates a structure with our tendons and our ligaments. And then we have Tai Chi posture. Effortless, open, well aligned. You know, it may not be perfect. Let's straighten him out a little bit. We all have our curves and injuries and things, so it doesn't have to be a perfect posture for it to be effective. That's really important for you to realize. If you are connecting the bottom to the top, and here's his antenna, you know how I talk about the antenna, which, by the way, that verbiage of antenna is something that Howard talks about. It's not my original verbiage. But the antenna, just a few inches above the crown of your head. If you place your awareness right at the crown of your head, then you're in your body too much. We want to be a little bit outside of the body. So you want to imagine your antenna up here and connect the bottom of your feet to the antenna. So it's kind of a spring-loaded feeling, but it's achieved by releasing your muscles and letting the elasticity and the lengthening of your tendons and ligaments that open your joints to create the structure, rather than you creating the structure by holding your muscles. Does that make sense, kind of, sort of? Besides, it's just a whole lot of fun. It's a good visual. I loved this toy when I was a kid. Okay. All right, so here we go. While we do our standing meditation then, I want you to imagine that you're releasing. So that releasing of the muscles is just, it's really outside of our box. We hold our muscles and we don't even realize it. Let's get in our Tai Chi stance, but I would encourage you to actually make it a little narrower and think a little taller. And the trick here is that we tend to put our awareness and gravitate our mind to that which is most real to us, which we can feel and sense. Well, what's that? That's gravity. So let's just let go of your knees and just kind of let your muscles go and be loose. So, and just kind of sag, like the giraffe has collapsed, except we won't completely bend over, but just collapse everything. Let gravity take a hold of you and feel how loose you can get, and you can feel your weight. And this is where we tend to reside when we do our Tai Chi or our standing meditation. What I want you to do is to put your mind in the not obvious, which is the rising, the lifting, the opening, the lengthening. So we release your knees slightly bent and allow yourself to feel all the weight. Feel the weight hanging, your muscles hanging on the skeleton. And now pretend that you're that giraffe and we're going to release the button underneath. So as you release, what you're going to do is just puddle that weight down either to your dantian or to your feet. So as it puddles down, open up the joints and feel like you're inflating your joints. You're creating more space in between each articulating joint. Yeah. Now make sure that you're not adding to it, because I see some of you and you're being a little effortful, so you're inflating, you're going like that a bit. You're still hanging on it. Remember the giraffe? That's better. Now can you feel that your skeleton and your ligaments and tendons are a marvelous system that will hold you up if you allow it to? Great. Now, as we enter into our standing meditation posture, I want you to become a balloon. So you're inflating from the inside. Start with your hands. And just inflate from the inside out about 1 millimeter to your skin, beyond your skin, in your hands. And now you will have a little bit of fascial opening and expression of opening. Then in your arms, inflate from the forearms towards the shoulders. And inflate your elbows and allow them to float forward. Bring the back of the wrist together. And now we're going to draw up that elastic band in between each joint. Draw it up, and at the same time release the button underneath your feet like the giraffe. That's very nice. You can take a breath in and float up a little bit and then release and let go of those muscles. And we're going to stay in this posture for a little bit. And just see if you can open your joints and hang your muscles. And as you do, you'll feel more releasing, and that weight just sort of puddles down into your dantian or into your feet. Yeah, Angeline, bring your hands closer together. Bring them, yeah. And create space in between each finger joint. Song your hands. Good, now song your wrists. and your elbows. And your shoulders, when you song them, it's on a horizontal plane, horizontal line. And pretend now that we're all in a pool and our arms are resting on the pool deck and our body is hanging in the water. So I want you to let go of the lower body a little bit more. Just see how much you can let it hang. And if your mind goes to heaviness or feeling gravity, then fill your body with something like steam or smoke or something light like helium. And so that you feel more the lightness rather than the heaviness. Connect your curtain rod, that spring-loaded curtain rod, from your feet to your antenna. That's nice. Now we'll take a breath in and release and sink the shoulders. Just let them go, just the shoulders. Then let it pour down into your elbows. And now your elbows naturally sink. And feel it pour down into the wrist. And all the way down to the fingertips. And in your mind, connect the fingertips across to each other. Inflate your elbows, your arms, your trunk. And pretend you have a big ball and you're just floating on top of the ball. In fact, if you want, you can bend at the quad a little bit and just sort of rest on that ball. Crevice open every joint in your body. And feel like you're floating in space. In the space around you. And then we'll take a breath in. Release and pour the weight down, releasing that button at the bottom of the giraffe. Open up your joints, lengthen, and push on the walls. And feel that presence of energy that's all around you. And you're pressing on that energy from your elbows to your palms of your hands. So out horizontally, and then from your feet to your antenna, like that giraffe getting taller and taller. Now we'll take a breath in. Release. And once again, putting your mind in the not obvious. We're going to float and draw up. So you can stand up a little more. Draw this light energy into your body. Release out the heavy energy. Settle your arms down, resting them on top of this ball. And the ball is buoyant. And it allows you to elongate your spine and release your lower body on. And here now we have absolute stillness. Now we'll take a breath in and release the shoulders. Let the heaviness pour into the elbows and down to the wrist. And now inflate your hands and feel your ball. Connect the fingers. And now put your awareness in the space rather than in your body. So the space between your fingers, between your hands, and between the forearms. And let that space inflate. And it opens up your arms. So you're following this expansion. Then as we release, it's like you're releasing the button at the bottom of the giraffe. So release it, and then your spine opens up. Imagine that with every closing, your spine opens and lengthens so that you can become a ½ inch taller with each one. So now inflate the space. And I like to be as expansive as I can continue to feel that presence. So sometimes I'll just get really, really big, filling up all the space, and then I kind of hang there for a second and float and release the body. Then close. And as you close, releasing the bottom of that giraffe button and opening and lengthening the spine. Now you might start to feel some real resistance here. And that's good. Like thick syrup or a strong magnet. Work with it. Allow it to support you. Now we're going to do the same mindset, releasing the hands down. And as we do commencement form, it's just like the open and close. So as you open, you're putting your awareness in the space, like between your hands and your quad. And let it expand, and it pushes your arms up. Then as you release, that's like releasing the button at the bottom of the giraffe, so open your spine. So we'll do 3 of these. Put your awareness in the space. And open the spine. Then we'll just let it all settle down like tea leaves settling at the bottom of the glass. Place your middle finger on the sides of your thighs. Place the tongue, the end of the tongue, at that space behind your teeth, at that palate point. Connect your feet to the antenna. See how much more you can release, and opening the joints.